you all better hurry, son. They're off to a little Bible college in Missouri. Now you come back saying you know a little bit about every little thing they ever hoped you'd never figure out. The Red Sea, the Dead Sea, the Sermon on the Mount. You want to see a miracle? Watch me get down tonight. Okay.
Oh yeah, Josh Ritter has been called one of our greatest living songwriters. He's been on this show multiple times, including this performance from 2016, recorded live at San Francisco's The Fillmore. But today we're focusing on another one of his endeavors. His second novel, The Great Glorious Goddamn of It All, is set to be released on Tuesday. It's set in Idaho in the early 1900s during the last days of the lumberjacks, before modern machines changed the business forever. It's where Ritter, now based in New York City, was raised. And recently we joined him for a trip back.
A single word, it landlocked me, and turned the mass to cedar trees.
There's so many places now, it feels like it's so easy to fly over, and coming down here where the trees, you walk off at the edge of town and the trees just swallow you up. It's so exciting.
Idaho.
Josh Ritter grew up in a valley surrounded by striking mountains and towering conifers. Western Idaho has always been essential to him. You miss this place?
Yeah, I really do. I think about it a lot. I think that the most powerful moment sometimes that I have in my year is when I come back to Idaho and I smell the pine trees for the first time again.
Ritter's new book, The Great Glorious Goddamn of It All, is a love letter to both his childhood home and a long-gone way of life. It tells the story of a young boy, the son of a timberman, as he comes of age during the last days of the lumberjacks at the beginning of the 20th century.
He's shaped by not only the landscape and the mountains and the trees around him, but he's shaped by these mortal enemies that he has, that he believes keeps him alive. And that kind of orneriness and that willingness to take on all comers is something that I was really, I thought was fascinating and so fun.
The journey of Ritter's protagonist, Weldon Applegate, can be as enjoyable to read as Ritter's career has been to watch.
Sunday night at supper time, the hotel's full and all is fine.
He started with songs, strumming onto the scene as a teenager in the 1990s. He's since released 10 albums featuring his unmistakable version of Americana.
I'm not afraid of the dark, we've been here before.
A decade ago, Ritter released his first book, the critically acclaimed Bright's Passage.
When I first started writing, I thought this is going to be great. I don't have to rhyme. I don't have to drag my gear with me everywhere I go, you know. And then I found out that it was still, like, it all came down to putting the perfect word after the perfect word.
You realize it's still writing and it's still hard.
It's still hard, yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. And I've never been more embarrassed in my life than sitting alone in my room at the end of the day reading back something that I wrote that is no good, you know.
It's a log drive in Idaho.
The Great Glorious Goddamn of It All takes readers back in time to a dangerous and demanding world when lumberjacks had to fell trees with arms and axes, then transport them by ox so they could be floated down rivers in the days prior to heavy machinery.
The monarchs of the forest have been humbled to satisfy the needs of men.
Yeah, they didn't have these 150 years ago.
No. When combustion engines came around, people must have been so excited.
In the book, Ritter highlights a mysterious place called the Last Lot, a remote timber spot full of majestic firs and pines that is thought to be impossible to harvest.
It was fun to read about the real job and then to blow it up into myth, make it bigger than it possibly could have been.
I think there's sometimes you go outside and you walk by trees, but you don't really look at them.
Yeah.
I think this book makes you look at them.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I think that there's something just tremendous and magical about walking underneath the boughs of some of those big trees, you know. Sometimes walking underneath those trees like you're in a cathedral, like the cathedral is really trying to be what a tree is.
Like they're older than us, they're bigger than us.
Yeah.
They've seen more than us.
Yeah.
I had a dream last night, rusting far below me, battered hulls and broken hardships, Leviathan and lonely
Is the satisfaction that you get from writing a novel different than writing a song?
I think of both as whether it's a song or a novel, it's a dispatch back from a faraway place.
Come on in, it's so good to see you. It's been so long, I know.
A song may be like a postcard, and you imagine everything around it, but a book is like a full travel log.
Today, Ritter is already hard at work on his next novel, and is also about to get back to something else. You're about to start shows again.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
For the first time since
For the
beginning of last year.
Yeah, in a year and a half. Performing is so necessary for me, for my creative life. It pours all the energy into my fuel tanks.
Peter killed the dragon and he did it with his bare hands.
My wife Haley says that the roots of every religion are people in a room making music. And I think that that's like something I've always believed.
He's starting with smaller, more intimate shows, a way for people to ease back into live music. But because so many of us are still spending so much time at home and not in crowds, Ritter's fans now have a new outlet for his prolific storytelling.
With books, you're getting a chance to go through the door of your imagination into a whole new world, and that's just kind of irresistible to me.
I love when he talks about the smell of the pines that every year when he goes back. It's just, there's something about the smell and the scenery in this section of the country that you don't get anywhere else, not just in this country, but around the world.
I loved when he said a song is a postcard, but a book is like a travel log.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.